Yeah, so very warm welcome to all of you. So let us start by invoking the blessings of the Acharyas. Om Jnanatiminandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्तो राधाकान्तो नमस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सन्दुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। प्लीज रिपीट। हरे कृष्णा
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare
once more। हरे
Hare
कृष्णा
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, very warm welcome to all of you. So today is a cloudy evening here in Delhi, and we have discussed the first chapter. Congratulations to all of you. All of you have been certified to like now complete the first chapter. So at least you should go through the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita on your own, and you should try to understand whatever we have discussed. What you can refer to the recordings also, and you should try to read the Bhagavad Gita purports on your own, and then basically it will frame the foundation for the second chapter. So till now we have seen that like Arjuna is experiencing this contradiction in his emotions, and basically the scene on the battlefield is very difficult for Arjuna because the conch shells have already been blown and there is a lot of enthusiasm required to fight, but Arjuna is facing negative emotions. And as you know that a Kshatriya, basically he has to be fully fired up in order to fight on the battlefield. But instead Arjuna is about to cry and he like left his Gandiva bow and he's just reeling on his negative emotions. And in this session we will see that how Krishna motivates him. So basically the ideal uh, theme of this session is what is the role of a coach, how a coach can motivate his mentee and he can bring him to the right level. So we also saw in the first verse of the second chapter also we have read that tam tatha kripaya vistam ashru purna kulekshanam vishadantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. Seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna spoke the following words. So these words Sanjay is speaking to Dhritarashtra, and I think all of you must be remembering that basically this is a conversation within a conversation. So Sanjay is telling by the mercy of Vyasadeva about the description of the scene, what is going on the battlefield to Dhritarashtra. And on the battlefield, this dialogue is going on between Arjuna and Krishna. So Arjuna has given 5 reasons of not fighting, and now we will see that how basically Krishna refutes all those 5 reasons. So till now we have seen that Arjuna has been giving these reasons on the dharmic platform, on bodily platform, on attachment platform, on guru platform. Basically how we should not fight with the seniors. He is giving that reason. He is giving the reason that if I kill my superiors, if I kill my relatives, then how will I enjoy the kingdom? I want to enjoy the kingdom with in their association. And then he is giving the reason that if all the head of the families are killed, then basically the women will be unprotected, and that will lead to unwanted population. And even there will be nobody to transmit the Vedic tradition. So Shraddha ceremony will not be performed. So the entire Vedic tradition will be destroyed, and the family will be ruined. Like there will be no spiritual advancement. So all these arguments were on the dharmic platform, and Arjuna was not able to see the spiritual platform. So basically, we will see in this chapter that how Krishna would like to elevate the consciousness of Arjuna, and would basically try to show him this spiritual vision. So let's read the second verse. Yeah. So in the first verse, basically, it was more about compassion. That whatever compassion Arjuna was having on the battlefield, that was on the material platform, and the real compassion is like the for the spirit soul, the spiritual compassion. And as we discussed, that what to do about the dress of a drowning man. So if you are not able to save the drowning man, then what will be the benefit of saving the dress of the drowning man? So we will see that Krishna will explain this in detail in this chapter, that what does spiritual compassion mean. So let us read the second verse. श्रीभगवानुवाच कुतस्त्वकश्मलमिदं विषमे समुपस्थितम् अनार्यजुस्तम् अस्वर्ग्यम् अकीर्तिकरमर्जुन. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy." So here we see that basically we can expect that Krishna will say that, okay, I'm here for you, no need to grieve, and I'm here for your emotional support. These negative emotions will go away. But these things Krishna is not doing. Krishna is actually chastising Arjuna here. Krishna is insulting him, that you belong to such a pious race. You belong to basically you belong to Yadu dynasty, you belong to Vashni dynasty, and your lineage is so strong. And coming from such a lineage, you should not face with these impurities. So he is scolding him actually. He is insulting him that you are not representing your lineage nicely on this battlefield. And this misrepresentation basically will not lead you to higher planets, and even other people will not receive you nicely. So one point here is basically Krishna is not giving any emotional support. He is trying to elevate the consciousness of Arjuna. So Arjuna was making arguments on the basis of dharmic platform, and here Krishna is saying that this is not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. So value of life is in making spiritual progress, in understanding that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and then understanding these values of humility, gratitude, indebtedness. So how we can basically enhance this positive energy, that is real value of life. And this Arjuna was not able to understand, and he was trapped in his own attachments with his guru, with his relatives, and with his grandfather Bhishma, because of which he was caught into this trap of negative emotions. But this basically will not lead Arjuna to higher planets. So here we see that there is a total paradigm shift which Krishna wants from Arjuna. Krishna is trying to bring up Arjuna to on the spiritual platform, and he is trying to show that what will be the result of not fighting, and what will be the result of fighting, and especially what will be the spiritual result, because Arjuna has already made the material result comparison, that if we fight, then also there will be killing, and if we don't fight, then basically, although the opposite party will not be killed, but still basically that is a better situation. That's what Arjuna is arguing. But here Krishna is refuting that argument, and he is trying to bring Arjuna to a spiritual platform. And there are many situations, like in our day-to-day life also, we see this, that the same situation is interpreted differently by different people. For example, this conch shell blowing also, that had different effect on different parties. The Pandavas were having a transcendental effect. They were feeling motivated by that sound vibration, and the Kauravas were having demotivating effect. Their hearts were totally shattered. So it might be the case that the same situation might be perceived differently by different people. And so in that situation, we have to bring in a coach who can elevate our consciousness and who knows basically the truth and transmit that real truth to us. I think all of you must have like seen that example of an elephant, that there are five people who are seeing an elephant. So one person is holding the trunk of the elephant, and one person is holding the stomach of the elephant. One person is holding the tail of the elephant. So somebody is saying that this is a wall. Somebody is saying this is a pillar. Somebody is saying this is a rope. But actually, so these are basically a story of six blind men. But a person who is able to see the entire elephant, only he knows that that is an elephant, not a rope, not a wall, not a pillar, and not anything else. So like this, basically, these situations always come in our life, and it is our duty to take shelter of a mentor or coach who can make us understand the higher principles of life. And sometimes we are also having blind spots in our thought process, so he will put light onto those blind spots also. Yeah. So in the purport, Prabhupada is basically going deeper into Krishna consciousness, like he's citing about the various aspects of God realization, the Brahman aspect, the Paramatma aspect, and Bhagavan aspect. So at this point of time, we'll not go into details, but we can come to the third verse directly. So one more important point is here, like Krishna is insulting Arjuna. So in spite of the negative emotions of Arjuna, because Arjuna had like very strong faith in Krishna, Krishna is insulting Arjuna. And that is the duty of a guru, duty of a coach, that if he feels sufficient confidence in his disciple or in his mentee, then he can scold him. Because generally we have very, very inflated idea of our opinions, and we are very, very attached to our opinions. So in that state, there has to be some strong scolding which has to come from superiors who have higher knowledge. So that's why the principle is basically we should not be very, very much attached to our opinion, and we should put the matter in front of a superior who will throw more light in this direction. Yeah. So let's read the third verse. क्लैब्यमास्मगमा पार्थ न तत्त्वया उपपद्यते शूद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्त्वोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. So for Krishna, these basically whatever arguments Arjuna is making, these are just weakness of heart. Hriday Daurbalyam, Shudram Hriday Daurbalyam. So these are the weakness of a heart which is displayed by a Shudra. So generally our Varnashrama system is divided in four Varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And Brahmanas are ones who are closest to Krishna, who knows the science of God and who knows about Brahman. And then there are Kshatriyas who are administrators, and then there are Vaishyas who are generally involved in agriculture and cow protection. And then there are Shudras who generally serve all these three Varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas. So Shudras are generally like more conditioned, and they are not capable of taking responsible position like Vaishya, Kshatriya, or Brahmana. So that's why they are basically weak-hearted. And that's what Krishna is telling, that although you are a Kshatriya, but you are displaying the qualities of a Shudra. So he is again chastising, he is insulting again and again Arjuna. And Krishna knows that Arjuna has this faith in him, and that's why Krishna is able to chastise. So always we have to gauge this. Sometimes we, like some of us are managers, some of us have like subordinates who are reporting to us. So we should gauge the relationship. We should gauge that how much trust the other person has. Then we can basically chastise him and scold him and everything. Like if the relationship is very comfortable and very basically give and take, love and trust is there, then you can easily talk about very difficult things also, and you can chastise and scold also. And that's how basically our relationships grow. Like if the trust is good, then trust can be taken even more when the right knowledge or right purpose is transmitted through that relationship. So that is the beauty of relationship. And like acharyas say that Krishna consciousness is all about relationships. So the more you have trust in devotees, the more you have trust in Krishna and the acharyas who are transmitting this process of bhakti, the easy is your advancement towards Krishna. So relationships are very important for advancing in Krishna consciousness. And here we see that Krishna is like giving this example by his own chastisement to Arjuna, that he has like very sufficient confidence on Arjuna and he is chastising him. So let us read the purport. This is a short purport. Arjuna was addressed as the son of Pritha, who happened to be the sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjuna had a blood relationship with Krishna. If the son of a Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in name only. And if the son of a Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahmana in name only. Such Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are unworthy sons of their fathers. Therefore, Krishna did not want Arjuna to become an unworthy son of a Kshatriya. Arjuna was the most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But in spite of all these credits, if Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act. Therefore, Krishna said that such an attitude in Arjuna did not fit his personality. Arjuna might argue that he would give up the battle on the grounds of his magnanimous attitude for the most respectable Bhishma and his relatives, but Krishna considered that sort of magnanimity mere weakness of heart. Such false magnanimity was not approved by any authority. Therefore, such magnanimity or so called non-violence should be given up by persons like Arjuna under the direct guidance of Krishna. Yeah, so again, in this purport, this importance of authority is emphasized, that always we should validate our emotions, feelings, our thought process with the authorities. For example, if we are a lead who are leading 2, 3 engineers and we think in a certain way, but we should validate that understanding with our manager, like we who might be leading 2, 3 leads which are like us. So in the similar way, like Arjuna is validating his thought process with Krishna. And here in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that Krishna doesn't validate this magnanimity of Arjuna. Krishna clearly says that this is just a mere weakness of heart. And here we see that there are duties, like Brahmanas have duties and Kshatriyas have duties to fight. And basically in the Vedic tradition, it is said that a Kshatriya, if he goes to battle, he should not come out of the battle by losing. Basically, either he should die or he should come out winning. So that is the duty of Kshatriya. Like he should not ever come back by after losing. Either he should just uh, be killed by the opposite party, or he should basically win the battle by defeating the opposite side. So that's how they achieve the heavenly planets. So these are all like scriptural statements which I'm just rephrasing and telling you folks. Yeah. So that's why Krishna did not want that Arjuna, being a Kshatriya, he should be defamed, or like uh, any other people might think any negative feelings about Arjuna. So that's why Krishna is motivating Arjuna to perform his duty and to continue performing the battle. Yeah. Okay, let's read the next verse. So again, like Arjuna will give some argument. Arjuna vacha katham bhishmam aham sankhye dronam cha madhusudana ishubhi pratayotsyami pujarau arisudana. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? Hmm. So, Nidhi, you would like to read? Of course. Right.
I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm with my younger one, so
Okay.
I'm just on listening mode.
Okay. Vaishali, you want to try?
Yeah,
Shall
sure,
we?
Rajat.
Yeah.
Yeah. What should I be reading?
We are reading the fourth verse of second chapter, the
Okay,
purport.
so page number can you give me? Like I have the book in front of me. Page number.
In
One
this book,
second.
it is 70th page.
Okay, 1 second, please. 70. Um, okay, 70. I think I have a different book.
I'll project this.
Yeah. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. I think mine is like the page number is different.
Yeah, page numbers are generally different. So this is the fourth verse of second chapter.
Okay. Can I? Okay, I'll read it from here. Can I read it
Yeah.
from here? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Respectable superiors like Bhishma, the grandfather, and Dronacharya, the teacher, are always worshipable. Even if they attack, they should not be counterattacked. It is general etiquette to the superior are not to be offered even a verbal fight. Even if they are sometimes harsh in behavior, they should not be harshly treated. Then how is it possible for Arjuna to counterattack them? Would Krishna even attack his own grandfather Ugrasen or his teacher Sandipani Muni? These were some of the arguments offered by Arjuna to Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, this is very important that we should not give any verbal fight to our superiors, especially parents, and because they have done a lot of things. So this is basically prescribed in Shastra. So we will read like similar verses in the 17th chapter also. They with which Guru Pragyam. So all the superiors like parents, like Brahmanas and Guru, these have to be treated as equal as God, and they should be respected and worshipped like them. So this argument is given. Yeah. So let's read the next verse. गुरून् हत्वा हि महानुभावान् श्रेयो भोक्तुं भक्ष्यम् अपीह लोके हत्वार्थकामांस्तु गुरूनिहेव भुञ्जीय भोगान् रुधिरप्रदिग्धान्. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Yeah. Bharti, you want to read?
Yeah, sure. According to scripture reports, a teacher who engages in an abdominal action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. Bhishma and Drona were obliged to take the side of Duryodhan because of his financial assistance. Although they should not have accepted such a position simply on financial consideration. Under the circumstances, they have lost the respectability of teachers. Arjuna thinks that nevertheless they remain his superior and enjoy, therefore to enjoy material profits after killing them would mean to enjoy spurs tainted with blood. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so basically, like Prabhupada in the purport is giving arguments on both the sides. So one is like a teacher who is engaging in abominable action, he is fit to be rejected. And generally, like in Kali Yuga, in today's world, generally the sannyas order is blasphemed a lot because sannyasis themselves, they are not following the rules and regulation, and there are a lot of scams going on around us. So that's why there are many litmus tests on which we can gauge the potency of a guru. So yeah, so in one of the scriptures it is said, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. So he should have heard from his guru, and he should be Brahmanishtam. He should be fixed in the Brahman conception of life. So you should observe the guru very, very carefully, and he should just talk about Krishna, and he should be operating on the spiritual platform. He should come to the understanding that he is not this body, is spirit, soul, and he's always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. So that those are some of the litmus tests by which you can understand the who is an actual guru, who is an authorized guru, and we will discuss more on these points later. Yeah. And further, like Prabhupada is saying that uh, Yeah, Bhishma and Drona, they took financial assistance from Duryodhana, and that's why they became obliged and they had to fight from the other side. So under these circumstances, Arjuna can reject these teachers. So that's why he should not be arguing so much in favor of not killing Arjuna, Bhishma and Drona. So this is one thing. Yeah. Yeah, feel free to interrupt if you have any questions or any thoughts. We will just try to read. We will keep reading this and then pause on the seventh shloka, which is the important shloka. So let's proceed to the next verse. न च तद्विद्म कतरन्न गर्यो यद्वा जायेम यदि वा न जयेयु यानेव हत्वा न जिजीवशाम् Devastita Pramukhe Dhartirashtra. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Purport. Yeah. Who would like to read? Gaurav, you want to read? If you're there. Yeah.
So I can read. Yeah, now I can see.
Yes.
Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of Kshatriya, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence, nor was there the certainty of victory, because either side might emerge victorious. Even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, still, if the son of Dhritarashtra died in battle, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. Under the circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them. All these considerations by Arjuna definitely proved that not only was he a great devotee of the Lord, but he was also highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in a royal household, is another sign of detachment. He was truly virtuous, as these qualities, combined with his faith in the words of instruction of Sri Krishna, the spiritual master, indicate, it is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge, and without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. Arjuna was competent in all these attributes over and above his enormous attributes in his material relationships. I believe this was heavily in context of defining the character of Arjuna.
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much, Gaurav. Yeah, very nicely read. You want to share anything?
No, I still have the questions that I asked you last time, that the way the book has been written is seemingly still not very clear to me. Uh, Although I will also want to bring up the fact that I learned that the same story, at least the Mahabharata, if not Bhagavad Gita, also has different versions written from the context of different characters and which have the nuances as well. So that was a very interesting thing to know.
Yeah. So Mahabharata is written for us Kali Yuga people only, because like there are a lot of intriguing things which gives a lot of suspense and a lot of thrill to the mind. So that's why that will interest the people of Kali Yuga, because if you tell them always that you are not this body, you are spirit, soul, you have to do devotion, so that might not click immediately. So that's why Mahabharata was compiled for us, for all of us who are in this age, so that gradually uh, we become bewildered by the acts of Krishna. And when we become bewildered by Krishna, then we somehow get some sukriti and get attracted towards Bhagavad Gita. And here basically Arjuna's qualities are mentioned, that as we discussed, that Arjuna has all the qualities of a leader. So his consciousness was very, very clear, and his intelligence, he could think what would be the consequences of the battle. And although the opposite side might be so greedy, but we should not do the same sinful act which the opposite party are, basically they are overwhelmed to do that. So that is very yeah, so that is very, very nice of Arjuna, and like these show, they depict the qualities of Arjuna. So thank you, Gaurav. Yeah. And if you read the preface, like Prabhupada will talk about yeah. Yeah, correct. It shows. So Vaishali is writing, I feel Mahabharata is relevant across different periods. It shows how people are not perfect, they are good and bad by times. It shows both noble and base emotions very nicely. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for sharing, Vaishali. Yeah, so Gaurav, I would encourage you to read the preface and the introduction also. There, Prabhupada is mentioning this thing only, that although there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita in the market, but still, again, I am writing this version of Bhagavad Gita because the purpose of that book is not very clear, where like the author is generally giving his own interpretation, but he is not giving what exactly Bhagavad Gita has to teach. So in the 15th chapter, like Bhagavad Gita is telling that Sarvasya Chaham Ridhi Sannivisto Makta Smritir Jnanam Apunam Cha Vedescha Sarve Rahameva Vedyo Vedant Krit Ved Videv Chaham. So although basically we come with the analytical bend of mind, or we come with basically trying to understand according to our like take more knowledge, but but in the 15th chapter it is said the aim of all the Vedas and Bhagavad Gita is to know Krishna Tattva. And you can know Krishna only by hearing from a person who knows Krishna, because you cannot give one what you don't have. So you can only give what you have. Suppose I have $100, then I can give you $100. I can't give you $1,000. So similarly, a person who knows Krishna, he can give Krishna to you. And in this age, basically, that is the qualified guru who has realized about Krishna. Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kenaname Say Krishna Tattvaveta, say Guru Hoy. So one who knows Krishna and Tattva, he is the Guru. And that's what Prabhupada is writing in preface, that that's why it's very important to be connected to a disciplic succession, because a pure transcendental knowledge is being passed down through that unbroken chain of gurus. And Prabhupada is one such disciplic is one such acharya who is the contemporary acharya in that line. And he's whatever he has absorbed from his own guru, he's just transmitting that in his purport. So like that, basically on the authority of Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we are taking this Bhagavad Gita as authorized. And there can be similarly more Bhagavad Gitas also which can be authorized, but they should be connected to one of these four disciplic successions, which are the authorized disciplic successions. Yeah.
When
Does
was this edition written?
so this so in the fourth chapter we'll see that this is actually an eternal knowledge, like basically this was always in vibration form in the starting of Kali Yuga, but this was written down by Vyasdev and at the beginning of Kali Yuga. And actually Ganesha is writing the dictation of Vyasdev. So actually on the day of Akshaya Tritiya only this Bhagavad Gita was written. So the same, these slokas will remain same across all the Bhagavad Gitas, but the translation and the purport, they will vary from Acharya to Acharya. And here the nice thing about this Bhagavad Gita is like for the words, you will find the word to word meaning also, and then the translation, where basically, which is very, very coherent and in line with the word to word meaning. Yeah. So the answer is like it is written at the starting of the Kali Yuga by Lord Ganesh on the dictation of Vyasdev. Yeah,
How many years would that be from now?
that would be 5,000 years from 5,000
And
years back.
And the events described in the book are even older.
Events. So this is a conversation going on the battlefield, which is basically just after that. Yeah.
The book was written immediately after the battle, or was it written later?
Yeah, I'll come back to you on this. I'll come back to you on this. Yeah, after I'll address this question on the group. Yeah, I'm also not so clear the synchrony, because generally the way Shastras go, they are generally not in synchrony. Like sometimes the stories which are told within the story, those stories happen before that. So it's very difficult to establish the synchrony of the events. So I will just come back to you on this. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for your question. Any other point? Okay, let's read the seventh verse, right? Yeah. Carbon, just a second. कर्पण्यदोषापहत्स्वभावा पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेता यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. Now I am confused about my duty and I have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Yeah, so this is an important verse, and here we see that Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna. Until now, the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna was of friendship, but now that relationship will evolve into a guru shishya relationship, a disciple and spiritual master. Yeah. So, yeah, Mummy, you would like to read that one?
Yeah. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there is perplexity, and therefore behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from perplexities of life which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse. Who is the who is the man in material perplexity? It is he who does not understand the problems of life. In the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, the perplexed man is described as follows: Yo va etat aksaram gargi avidit va samaj lokat praiti sa kripana. He is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as a human and who thus quits this world like the cats and dogs without understanding the science of self realization. The human form of life is a most valuable asset for the living entity who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, one who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. On the other hand, there is the Brahmana or he who is intelligent enough to utilize this body to solve all the problems of life. Ya etat aksharam gargi vidit vasmai vasmal Lokat Prayati Sa Brahmana. The Kripanas or Kripants or miserly people waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members, on the basis of skin disease. The Kripan thinks that he is all able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripan thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals who take care of children, also being intelligent. Arjuna could understand that his affection for family members and his wish to protect them from death were the causes of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still, on account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge the duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Talks between the master and the disciple are serious, and now Arjuna wants talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita is stated in the Gita itself, and yet foolish mundane scholars explain that one need not submit to Krishna as person, but to the unborn within Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna's within and without, and one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool in trying to understand Bhagavad Gita.
Hmm.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah, this perplexity word is used many times in this purport. And so basically this purport is emphasizing on the importance of a guru or importance of a coach, right? Because generally this material world is full of problems, like whether you might be in family or you might be in company or you might be somewhere else, there will be problems, like people might be agitated or there might be relationship issues, there might be resource issue, wealth issue, there might be anger issues. So all these perplexities are there. And even like this material world in scriptures, it is compared to a forest fire, samsara davana. So forest fire, what happens? Like the forest, it starts automatically. Like nobody needs to light a matchstick and start the fire. The two woods, they brush among each other, and the fire starts. So there is no reason required to start the fire. So this material world is compared to a forest fire in the scriptures, and that's why to extinguish this forest fire, we need the mercy of a spiritual master. Mercy means basically a person who can elevate our consciousness, who can give us transcendental knowledge, and who can make us understand that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and we are meant to serve Krishna. So when we basically have this understanding and we execute our life on this spiritual platform, then we get saved from so many troubles. And as we see, as we are reading, we have started the second chapter. In later verses, Krishna will simplify things a lot for Arjuna, because Arjuna's analysis is so complicated. Lot of shastras he's quoting, and we are also becoming confused. But simply, like Krishna will say that tam titikshashu bharata, just tolerate whatever sufferings, whatever negative emotions you are feeling in your mind, just tolerate those emotions. So similarly, we have to learn to tolerate. These are the like instructions of a guru for this for the living entities in this age. We have to tolerate our greed, as it is said that this world is basically it is for everybody's needs, but it is not for everybody's greed. If everybody starts to like consume the earth according to his greed, then we might need 3-4 such earths. So that is very very like not at all environment friendly. So like this, we have to learn to tolerate the urges of lust, greed, and anger. and then basically we become eligible to receive this higher transcendental knowledge. And that's why a coach is required, because in daily life situation also we have these situations, whether it be our subordinates or whether it be a working situation or a family situation. Yeah. And the other most important aspect is that Arjuna is the ideal person, and he is surrendering to Krishna now. So although he has so many questions, he has so many negative emotions, but he has such faith in Krishna that he is able to surrender. So, for example, can you think of yourself that if you are so much agitated or so much angry, will you be able to surrender to your manager? I don't think so. Like, not in my case. I would maybe go to somebody else whom I consider with like lot of knowledge, lot of wisdom. So who can solve my problem, who can basically elevate my consciousness. So this is the importance of Krishna consciousness, that a person who is Krishna conscious, he can elevate your consciousness, and basically he can pull you out of those problems. So the problems might be there and they might be occupying your consciousness, but he can elevate your consciousness, just like a Empire State Building. If you see the small cities from Empire State Building, then they will just look like dots, ants. So those problems will also look like dots if your consciousness is elevated, and that is the job of a guru. Yeah, manager is Krishna. That is the best. Actually, the real manager is Krishna only, because this entire cosmic manifestation, it is placed by Krishna. So everything is in order. Like there are 14 planetary systems in this earth also. There is basically 4 seasons for basically this autumn, winter, summer, and then there are animals also. So many species. So everything is in order. Lot of design is there. So if you see a tree which is 1,000 years old, so how can a tree come out of a small seed which is 1 inch? So these are all designs of Krishna basically. So that's how basically we have to understand. So has anybody of you heard this Isaac Newton story, like the famous story? Isaac Newton was a very was a theist person. Like he believed in God a lot. Anybody knows? Okay, I will tell you. So basically, there was a guest who came to Isaac Newton's house, and this guest was totally atheistic. He did not believe in God. And what Isaac Newton did, Isaac Newton is a very, very he believed in God so much, and so many scientists also believed. Like for example, Archimedes, and all these scientists knew that all these experiments they are doing, it is not happening by their own endeavor. Like there is some higher power which is giving them intelligence, because otherwise they would have immediately made that discovery. For example, the Eureka movement which Archimedes was chasing. So scientists who were really wise and had wisdom, they knew the hand of God in their inventions. So Isaac Newton had a lot of faith in God, and to this atheistic guest, what he did was he hung a model of solar system, very, very nicely designed solar system, in his house. And then when this guest came, he asked Isaac Newton that who has designed this model? This looks so beautiful. So everything is arranged so nicely. There are 9 planets, and each planet is orbiting in his own orbit. And there is sun also, which is the source of energy for all the 9 planets. So then, what was the reply of Isaac Newton? Anybody wants to guess to the guess question, that who designed the solar system?
God.
No, actually, he was atheist. So Isaac Newton said that nobody designed it. It came out of itself. Like it is not designed by anybody. So nobody is the designer of this solar system. It came out of itself. So the atheist says, how can it come out of itself? Like this is a properly designed, properly thought of. So somebody must have known this design. Then only he can design this entire 9 orbits and 9 planets. So Isaac Newton said, no, it came out of itself. If this entire world can come out of itself and no God is there, then this solar system can also come out of itself. This model can also come out of itself. So then that guess thought, okay, so there is a lot of design in this universe, and there is a designer behind this design. So that's how Isaac Newton convinced this atheist guest of the hand of God, of the design of God in this nature. So yeah, so that's how we'll conclude today's session. And yeah, any questions? Yeah, I think no questions today.
Thank you very much for today's session. As always, Rajat, always such a nice thing to get step back and have this discussion and even develop a different perspective for what is happening around us. So thank you for spending 1 hour with us every week and helping us look at things differently.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's what Krishna is trying to make Arjuna also understand. And actually, like the more and more we bring Krishna into our lives, our life will become blissful. Yeah, because Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andhakar, Yaha Krishna Vanai, Maya Radhika. So basically, like just like sun, right? So there are so many, like, so in our society, it's a very big society, but most of the people have dogs. So much feces is there, so much urine is there, which is so unclean actually. And only because of the sun we are saved somewhat, otherwise this entire place would have been full of mode of ignorance. So Krishna is like sun. So as Krishna is manifesting more and more in our lives, all the auspiciousness will come, all the inauspiciousness will go away, and our consciousness will be elevated. As you are telling that we will get a bigger picture at what is going on in our life and what is actually. So that is Krishna's plan, whatever is going in our life, according to our deserving and according to our qualification. So yeah, please participate more and more in this Krishna's plan and try to understand and go forward in your spiritual life. Thank you very much for all of you attending this session. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.